What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Schilling Beer Company, and they're out of Littleton, New Hampshire, and this is their Glimmen. So they're calling this one a smoked Helles lager that comes in at 5.1% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, this can is approximately 7 weeks old. So we got another Schilling beer here, and we got a smoked lager. So I've been on a little bit of a smoked beer kick lately because I'm trying to get into smoked beers. For a long time, I didn't want anything to do with them. Recently, I tried out a couple new beers from Schilling, well, new beers to me anyway, and their rotbier was really nice. One of the few that I can safely say that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I would probably buy again. So I've only had one other smoked Helles lager that I can think of, and it's behind me on the pretentious wall of bottles and cans. It is from Schilling, and it is their smoked Helles. And I really enjoyed that one. It was nice. Still a little bit heavy on the smoke for me. I'm hoping this one doesn't overwhelm me with the smoke. That's, I think, my biggest issue. I like when it's more of an accentuation of the base beer and it's nice and more nuanced. So I don't want it to just dominate the palate, but a lot of smoked beers do exactly that. So anyway, crack this one open in the glass. Now, they didn't specify, what wood they are using to smoke their malts, but they did mention tasting notes on, I think it was their website, and they did say something about, I don't remember the tasting notes exactly, other than they said cherrywood and mesquite were the two. So are those the two woods they're using to smoke their malts? Probably, but I don't know that for sure. So yeah, this is pouring out like any other Helles. Beautiful light colored lager here. Do something like that. And yeah, I can smell it. It definitely smells smoky. Duh, Joe, you idiot. Anyway, hold it up to the camera here, and yeah, that has a beautiful clarity to it. Has a little bit of a chill haze, but also just a generic haze in general. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, it has this like faint haziness. It's the very fine particulates. I can see it in the glass, but as I hold it up to the light, like you can barely see them, but it has a gentle haze to it. Has about a half finger of a bright white colored head. Definitely looks like it'd be creamy if it formed an entire one. It was there for a second. Good carbonation, kind of what you expect from a beer like this. So let's see how intense this smoke character is. It's smoky. it's quite smoky. Ooh, I'm getting more of that mesquite because it almost has. It's almost like I walked into like a barbecue restaurant, right? Like it has that kind of like barbecued meats, like kind of smell to it, like a brisket or like something like a, yeah, I'd say more of a brisket, or like, I like burnt ends a lot. And yeah, kind of like that smokiness from me from like barbecued meat. There's an underlying nice like breadiness to this one from the malt. It also has, I got like a nice zippy kind of lemon too in the aroma. Maybe a slight like kind of orchard fruit, like more of an apple, like a red apple. Here's what I'll say. The smoke's not overbearing. It's definitely predominant as far as the notes go in this beer. It's definitely a predominant note. But while it's intense, it's also not too intense. It's not too over the top. It's not ruining the aroma. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and try to BS you and say I can get a bunch of other stuff through the smoke. Breadiness, a little bit of lemon, maybe a touch of that apple, maybe a little bit of like a grassiness, but outside of that, like, it's smoke heavy. Let's get into it. Prost. That finish is very unique. Again, I wish I knew for sure what woods they're using to smoke the malts, because that rotbier was using, I'm pretty sure, cherrywood, if I'm remembering correctly here. This definitely, I feel like the mesquite kind of, it's again more of like that barbecued smoked meat kind of smokiness. There's something akin to that. This is actually quite drinkable, despite the fact that it's a smoked beer for me personally. Let's go by mouthfeel. Body's like lower side of medium into medium. Really nice for 5.1. The mouthfeel, very crisp. It's actually quite clean too on the palate. It's somewhat refreshing. So crisp, clean, and refreshing like so many lagers, sure. It's a moderate carbonation. Very smooth on the palate. Really nice body mouthfeel. The taste, how do I want to approach how I'm going to break this down? Because it's strange. I really like the finish. The smoke, while it's predominant, it's not, killing my palate. So forefront, let me just say the smoke hits me right away. It's omnipresent. Again, it's the predominant note. It's like a blanket hovering over everything. It's you always, like if you're trying to sit there and like pick apart what you're tasting, there's always, the smoke character is always there. It doesn't go anywhere. However, underneath that, there's a big breadiness up front, almost a crackery, but more big bready note, almost like a sourdough bread. As it passes through, that zippy lemon hits, and it's like almost like a splash of lemon juice meets like lemon, like a lemon rind or like a lemon zest, right? Like the zest of a lemon. Then about 2/3 of the way through the palate, I get that orchard fruit. It's like a red apple, maybe like a pear, something in that realm. And when I said the finish is cool, the finish, the breadiness kind of hits me in the back of the throat along with the smokiness and that like apple and pear kind of, they all converge on the back of the palate. And there's also this nice like grassy kind of, I'd say like a grassy floral kind of nature to the hops. It's a very delightful finish, believe it or not. I actually like this. It finishes full on dry, very mild bitterness, but definitely dry. Here's what I'll say about the smoke. While it's omnipresent, while it's the predominant note, it's not going to knock your palate on its ass like some of those Schilling beers. Like some of the Schilling beers, you really need to want to enjoy. You really need to enjoy smoked beers in general to just, I think, at the very least, tolerate those. Specific ones from them. I've had a couple that I do enjoy. I think this is somewhat approachable to me personally because the smoke's there, but I think there's enough of the base Helles that it actually shows characteristics both in the aroma and on the palate that are different from what you'd expect from a smoke beer. That's the way I look at it. Like you actually get the base beer, and it's a lot of times you don't get the base beer when you're drinking some of these smoking beers. At least I don't. My palate's shit though, so it is what it is. I just took a big sip there, and it's not too much. Now, one of two things are happening here. Either I'm starting to actually enjoy smoke beers, or this is a little bit more mild than a lot of the German ones like the Schilling. Regardless, am I still going to give this a crazy high score? No, because I'm just starting to kind of get into smoked beers and try more of them. But I will say, I like that this is somewhat balanced, even though, again, predominant note of smoke. The body and mouthfeel are really nice. It's a clean beer, and that finish is something that I do enjoy. So Glimmen from Schilling, I have absolutely zero issues giving this a straight 4 out of 5. Like, I think this is really well done. And I kind of thought going into this, like, if there's going to be a smoked beer from an American brewery that I enjoy, Schilling would be one of the few breweries that I'd be like, yeah, that's probably going to be good, right? They just make fucking great old world styles, a lot of these just classic lager styles, and then something like this, a smoked beer, I think is really well done. I would say, I might be wrong on this, like I am on 98% of the stuff that I say on my channel, but I think if you're a smoked beer lover, you might find this a bit weak. That's I'm not saying it's weak for me or weak in general. I'm just saying if you absolutely love smoked beers and you love that intense smoke flavor, this might be a little bit more subdued than probably what you're looking for, but I could be wrong. So if you've had this one before and you love smoked beers, post in the comment section. What did you think about it? Because I think it's pretty damn solid. Price point availability. One of the cheaper schmillings, one of the cheaper shillings that I've grabbed. I think I paid like $3.7. No, it might have been like $3.89 or something like that for the can. But 4-packs were $13.99. A lot of the Schilling stuff here in the Buffalo, New York area that I've seen, found anywhere typically between like $15 to $18 for a 4-pack, and then like singles are anywhere between like $4 to $5. This was one of the cheaper ones that I picked up, and I'm not too upset about it, especially now that I can say I enjoy it. And availability, we talked about Schilling before. They probably have a beer finder. They also have deposit on the back of the cans, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut, and Michigan. So it looks like 6 states. They might get into other states. I think somebody Chaz was probably the guy. Chaz, shout out to you. Chaz loves the talking distribution. I think he said he went to the Beer Finder for Schilling, and like, I think they got down to maybe even like Virginia, maybe Maryland, and a couple other spots. I can't remember, but I think they got into more states than what they actually list on the can, which totally makes sense to me. They don't put New Hampshire on there, but clearly they're in New Hampshire. But anyway, if you've had this one before, like I said, post in the comment section. 5.1%, you can't taste it. Another Schilling beer, another delicious beer. And I say delicious. I gave this 4 out of 5, but this is delicious for the style for me personally. Maybe I should have went higher, but it's a smoke beer, so it's like tough for me to give it a crazy high score. It's just between this and the Rotbier from Schilling. I think I found a couple smoke beers I could actually get down with, so it's a plus. Anyway, appreciate it. To the next one. Prost.